Well, it's Sunday morning, uh, last day of the year, and I'm actually off again today. So it was a 3-day weekend for me, but then the next 3 weeks I'll be working uh, Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 6:30. Uh, but anyway, I'm out here with Badger. I got Bella tied up at the barn, and Samson's tied up at the house after spending the night loose. uh, I figured he wouldn't take off with Bella there, and so he's tied up in the breezeway. Just had breakfast, and I got a cot with a mat in there, so he's sleeping. Um, yeah, what I'm gonna do for the next few weeks, and actually, I may do this anyway because I've had like up to 7 dogs in the house, 6 to 7 dogs in the house most of the day to keep them from taking off. And it's just the more dogs I can keep outside, just the easier the house is to clean. But as much as I love having them all inside, it's just a lot of work, and I'm basically not making any progress on doing anything except just maintenance cleaning every day. But anyway, I got the sheep, a few of them laying on the ground. They're getting nervous now because of Badger, but that's a sure sign that there's no coyotes around because the sheep are all relaxed. Samson's been out all night, and I'm pretty sure he kept the coyotes away from the territory while Bella was protecting the lambs. But anyway, I thought I'd make a longer video here because I think I'm going to start posting more. I talked about this to YouTube instead of Facebook, and just try to build some type of a following there. Still trying to monetize the social media stuff. But this is the modified duck run. It used to be chicken run, now dog run. But yeah, when I got here, all this was like overgrown. I mean, you couldn't walk in here because it was so overgrown. But I pulled up a bunch of stuff, and then later I got pigs, and then I dug these little mini ponds to contain the water coming off the barn roof. And we had ducks in here for a while, and now it's just a place where I can exercise the dogs. So that the fence raised up, but it's still not very effective because I watched a couple of dogs just fall over it right in front of me. But part of it, here, we'll come in here. Hey, Feather. Part of it was that this fence would sag, and I came up with this cheap, actually free and effective way of keeping this fence from sagging without pounding in a bunch of T-posts, because I can't find my post pounders off on the farm somewhere. I've looked everywhere. I forgot where I left it last year. But these are baling twines that Lowe's has for, like, tying stuff to your vehicles. And I just basically grabbed a few of these and tied one side of the fence to the other. You can also see how I attempted to use free materials around the farm to build this up a little bit, because I figure, it gives me an extra 1 to 2 feet of height that the dogs won't want to climb over. But that didn't work because Ginger and Lenny just vaulted over it one day when they saw something at the back of the farm. But since I reinforced it to where they can't bend it down once they climb on, I haven't seen them test it. But yeah, but anyway, I think the plan is I'm going to get a couple more tie outs and start keeping the dogs outside more. Basically running 2 shifts for the coyotes, but also just to make things easier for myself cleaning wise in the house. because as much as I'm working, some days, I mean, I try to, well, I do. I walk all the dogs by leash, 2 to 3 at a time, except that takes me like, 90 minutes to do it right. 90 minutes or more just to go, take a couple of dogs and go around the perimeter and then come back here and put them in the enclosure and let them, wrestle and run for a few minutes free. Because, the fence is down in the creek again. All that work I did over several weeks last year got washed out in the storm. And then there's 2 spots back there where the dogs have learned to climb out that's about 6 feet high. They did the same thing where they jump on and then it bends the fence over and they're over. So I'll have to reinforce those 2 spots before I can even, and the creek, before I can even let them off leash back there to get some more exercise. But for now, I'm just gonna exercise them in here as much as possible and tie out the dogs in 2 shifts. So during the day, I think I'll have a couple of dogs in here. So that way, if a pack of coyotes come in the farm, they'll be barking at them before they even get to the barn. And then at the barn, here, we'll go out this way. We'll take a look. Yeah, everything's crap around the farm. This is where I try to reinforce. Well, see, I got this thing up to like 8 feet just to keep them from climbing over, because this is one of their spots, and I got some 8-foot boards. I was planning on just getting a few boards at a time as I have extra money, because right now, seriously, after I pay everything, I got $200 a month for food and gas and everything else. It's like the mortgage, the power, and $650 in dog and cat food a month. And after taxes, I'm making like $1,800 a month at Lowe's. So don't really have any extra money to buy materials, except maybe maybe like $100 a month. And so I've been trying to come up with cheap ways to do things, like always. And that string method might be something that'll work. And the other thing I'm thinking about is I'm going to start cutting down these trees, like these little trees. Like I got one over there that was cut down by the power company a few years ago, but you can see all the branches have grown out. Those are like, straight poles that are 10 to 20 feet tall. And so I think I can cut those down, make them into 10-foot poles, and sharpen the ends with an axe, and then just pound them into the ground as fence posts. Because each one of these 7-foot T-posts costs like $11 now, and I need so many of them. But I guess just going old school, just got to grab free materials off the farm. But I don't know. I don't think I'll ever, unless I make a ton of money somehow, be able to fence this place all the way to keep the dogs in if they really want to escape. But anyway, let's take a look. Oh, there they are. I gotta get some straw today. Yeah, I got a little extra money. I can spend $20 on 2 bales of straw. Put it in here, and then over here for Bella. Yeah, she's on a 20-foot chain because she would go back to the house if I let her loose, and I need her out here. But I'm gonna get her some straw in here too. But actually, this will be basically, I'll switch it up. My plan is just to not keep a dog out here more than half the day. So if they're out here during the day, then they'll be near the house or inside at night, and vice versa. I mean, they're fine, but it's just like, I think they just get, more relaxed sleep when they're near the house. So everybody's got to be working. But yeah, so last night I had Bella out here, and then I left Samson here, and I fed them both out here. So I think Samson probably stayed out here most of the night because I didn't hear the indoor dogs barking, because the dogs bark, especially Badger here, because he and Samson have been in a couple of serious fights, and they kind of really hate each other now, which is sad because they're father and son. But anyway, but yeah, so whenever Samson comes to the house, Badger will go off, and I didn't hear him going off until about 10 a.m. this morning. It's like 11 right now. But yeah, so I think Samson probably stayed out here for most of his night, or patrolled, and that's why the sheep are so relaxed. And then he came to the house when the shift was over, and for breakfast. And he'll probably just stay asleep most of the day there. And I'm gonna let Bella off here in a little bit so she can come to the house too. And then I'll put two other dogs out here. Well, I can't have any other ones off leash because they'll take off for patrol, but I'll tie one out here, and I think I'm gonna get a chain and tie one over there by the greenhouse, or not the greenhouse, the old hen house. And yeah, I need to buy a couple more chains just so I don't have to move chains around. I can just move dogs around. But I think basically one chain here and one chain there, both of them long enough to reach this door without getting tangled. And I'll have two stations here to protect the sheep until the babies are big enough. And if I get any more sheep, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could keep them all in there for a couple of weeks, but I might keep a couple in the in the duck run too, because the dogs won't mess with them, and I can leave Samson loose in there at night. Yeah, but I mean, I could chain a dog there too, but I gotta have long enough to make sure the dog doesn't accidentally hang itself if it climbs the fence, and ends up on the other side. Because yeah, I learned that from the hard way with well, I don't want to talk about it, but yeah. So, but anyway, that's the plan. Hate to use chains for the dogs, but it's got to be done because I got to protect these sheep, and until I get perimeter fencing that works, if ever, they'll just have to work shifts on the chain when they're out here. So, well, that's the deal. I'm going to finish walking Badger here, and actually I might just put him out here and then bring Bella in, and then start walking the other dogs. So, yep, every day. All right, Bella. Yeah, I'm gonna let her loose so Badger can run around a little bit, because he won't take off, and neither will she. So I'm hoping the younger dogs will start staying around when off leash too, as they get older. But yeah, but even though they don't take off, like, I couldn't leave Bella and Samson off leash anymore because they stayed here, and then they were barking at my neighbor's house, and my neighbor with his house in the middle of my property, because years ago my mom bought all this, but the owner had deeded out that little parcel and house to his son and daughter-in-law, and then the son died and the daughter-in-law sold it out. So that's why we have this little house, on like a quarter-acre lot right in the middle of our 10 acres. And, I can't really expect the dogs to realize, hey, that house is not ours, even though it's in the middle of the property. So they were out, barking outside his window, and he complained about it. And so I just stopped letting Samson and Bella loose at night. But they had been doing that for like, a couple of months, well, a month or so. So I'm hoping that they've driven the coyotes pretty far away from this territory during the time they were off leash at night. and that you know, the coyotes won't figure out they're not patrolling and loose at night anymore. Well, actually, I guess Samson will still be doing it, because I did that last night and I didn't hear any barking, so I think at night he'll stay back here. But anyway, yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. Everything looks crappy. Everything is crappy. You know, inside the house, outside the house. But I just got to get through this period, because I have to work, 40 hours a week and walk the dogs, sleep, clean the house, and I just don't have any extra time to take care of stuff. But yeah, I'm making money on poker a little bit, like $500 over the last 2 weeks, even playing a couple of times a week. So order a new poker book, Modern Poker Theory, to learn the latest stuff, because I figured that, instead of trying to do a part-time job, in addition to full-time lows, the best part-time job I could do is if I can make money in poker, and if I can get my game back up, maybe I can play full-time again. But for now, just working full-time at Lowe's for $14 an hour. Apply for other jobs, pay more. Nobody's hired. I haven't gotten an interview. Actually, I got an interview with Harris Teeter Warehouse that would have paid $19 to $27, but I had no experience, and they hired, the hiring manager said he liked me and he wanted to give me a chance, but it just depended on how many people with experience they got. I never heard back from them. But yeah, lots of things that I haven't really updated about, just because I've been depressed, I guess, and busy. But things are looking up a little bit, so maybe I'll start posting more again. But all right, okay, get started walking the dogs in shifts.